Hi FlossTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin and this is my channel, Lady Robins. If you are a first-time viewer, thank you for coming and seeing what I'm up to. I hope that you are here to hear about cross stitch because that's what I talk about. It's my favorite hobby, cross stitch. So welcome. I appreciate you coming and seeing what I am doing. If you're a returning friend and subscriber, thank you for coming back. I really appreciate you. Also, guess what? You're going to hear about cross stitch too. It is a really nice Thursday here in the Pacific Northwest. I live in Kent, Washington, which is just south of Seattle and north of Tacoma. And we've got some puffy white clouds in the sky, but the sky is blue. It is currently not raining, so that's great. And I've got good lighting so I can show you my pieces. And it is the 6th of March. It is Thursday, the 6th of March. I can't believe it's March already. I feel like February took forever and went by so fast all at the same time. It was a fast, furious month. I got some good stitching in. I was only able to film one FlossTube last month, so I'm hoping to get 2 in for March, try to get more consistent with my filming. Anyway, we'll see what happens. All right, grab a beverage, grab your stitching. I've got mine, and I am in the University of Washington You Are Here mug. I've already got lipstick on it. And I don't have anything interesting. It's just brewed coffee. Even though it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm filming, I'm having a little caffeine pick-me-up. Yep, because I have plans. I have plans of stitching tonight. I am really close to a finish on a piece. I'll show that to you. And I'm really hoping that if I'm caffeinated, I will be able to knock it out before I go to bed. Okay, so February was a pretty good month for me. I had a start, a finish, and a fully finish, and it was all on the same piece. And I know I talked about it last time, but I didn't have the piece in the craft room with me. So I thought I would just quickly revisit that piece. What I started was by Brenda Gervais. It was in her Love Notes chart. And that's her Valentine's chart that has, I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 Valentine's themed pieces, but I stitched this for my husband. This is the Lovebirds, and this is my fully finished little pillow for him. I found a scrap of fabric. It's got little pink roses on it, super cute. And then I used some Lady Dot Chenille around the edge. And then there's my stitching. So this is my start, my finish, and my fully finished for February. That was good. I hardly ever get anything completed like that in February or in any month. It doesn't have to be February. But anyway, there you go. One more peek. Brenda Gervais, Lovebirds in her Love Notes chart. Yeah, that was the first one that I've stitched from that chart. I can see others being stitched up later on for future Valentines. Okay, I've got my book of days because I like to keep track of what I did throughout the month. So what I like to do is I like to write down all of my whips. And so in February, I started the month with 16 whips. In March, I'm starting March with 15 whips because if you watched, I finished Huckleberry Farm. So I had a big finish in February. It's not fully finished. My husband and I are searching through Goodwills looking for frames that we can use to frame that piece. We haven't found anything yet, so that might take a little bit of time, but that's okay. That's all right. The stitching is done. Now it's on to his part of the project, which is the framing. So did that. Throughout the month, I stitched on, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I stitched on seven different whips. So that was pretty good. I got a lot of work done on Fox and Butterflies by Max Pigeon, and that's what I'm hoping to finish tonight. So this is what it looks like. This is in his book, Cross Stitch in the Forest, and you can see I've already got my next project picked out. In fact, I'll show you what I want to do this amazing blue jay. That's going to be my next Max Pigeon stitch. So where did I get to? Well, when I picked this guy up, I had about this much of the tail done, and so I finished off the tail. I still had a butterfly and a tree to put in there, so I got that done, and now I've started the little flowers along the bottom. Boy, did I just stopped and didn't even anchor my needle. I guess I was tired. So this is being stitched on a 32 count Seraphim Fabrics, and it is called Water Spirit, and it is a really pretty color, really pretty. And you can see I still have quite a bit of that fabric left, so I'm thinking there'll probably be a few more Max Pigeons on here. But look at how pretty that it looks. Oh, I'm showing the back again. Sorry, guys. Yeah, look at that. So that is what I am hoping to finish up this evening while I am hanging out and watching TV with my husband. But here, if you can see, I am working on this last flower here, and then I've got all these little decorative stitches to go. And that might take longer than you think, because I'll probably, you know, start them with a pin stitch and finish them and then move, you know, do the next one. So that'll probably be a little fiddly and like I said, it'll probably take longer than I think, but it would be great if I got all that stuff. So that's gonna fill in this space over here if I could get that polished off. And then I still have to put the little flowers on the tops of these. That won't take too long. So crossing my fingers. And if I don't get it finished tonight, March isn't over yet. I think I will definitely have this done by the end of March. So there we go, Max Pigeon, Fox and Butterflies. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. Oh, and you guys, I have a thank you. I was so surprised. I was alerted that Pam and Steph on their FlossTube called me out as their gold stitcher on their latest FlossTube. So if you're watching Pam and Steph, thank you for doing that. Gosh, I really appreciated that. That was so nice. That was so nice. I always feel like, you know, I'm just doing my, you know, my own little thing up here in, you know, the Pacific Northwest. And if you find me, great. And if you don't, well, that's okay. There's so many FlossTubes to watch out there that I get it, that it's hard to watch everybody. So if you have come over from Pam and Steph's channel to see what I'm up to, welcome. I appreciate you being here. I was shocked. I was just shocked that they'd heard of me and they'd found me and they'd called me out. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. Okay, so what else did I stitch on in February? So beyond Fox and Butterflies, I'm consulting my book of days. I got some good work done on Hyperboria and Harbor Haven. So let me show you those. Harbor Haven's right on top, so let's start there. So that's by the Bay NeedleArts, and I'm on chart number 6. There's 12. So I'm not quite halfway done. But what I got stitched on this guy this time, there's a lot. This is a long piece of fabric, so I'm kind of struggling to get it stitched. So what I got done is I got all of the leaves put in, and I think I might have even had maybe a branch that I still needed to do. So I got all the leaves put in, and there's a sun up here, and so I just started on that sun. And then let me show you the picture on chart number 6. So look at that. So there's a lot of stitching still to go. I mean, I've got the girl, I've got the little sheepies, of course I got that beautiful sailboat, and I've got to finish the sun. So I've got a lot of stitching left to do on scene number 6 in this, but I have added it to my Magazine Monthly cross stitch challenge. I'll show you that at the end, because you know me, I love all those challenges. They keep me moving. They keep me moving. I don't get stuck. And stuck is the wrong word. I like to work on things for like 2 or 3 days and then wander off and do something else. And then, you know, maybe I'll wander back, but I love those challenges. They make my stitching fun. So that is Harbor Haven. It's also on my March acrostic. So I'll keep working on that. The other thing I worked on was Hyperboria, and that is by Owl Forest. And I bought the kit, and that's what it looks like. And so I started in the middle. So the middle is completely done, and now I'm moving over. Well, if you'll look at the chart, it's over to the left, and kind of where the bobcat is. So here is Hyperborea, and this is the kit fabric, the kit floss. And so what I got done is I finished off this little building. I got this motif underneath, I got that motif done, and so then the next thing I'm gonna head towards are these little motifs down over here, and then there's some seals, and I'm really looking forward to stitching those seals. This is a really fun stitch. I love the colors. It's the Owl Forest flosses, so it's all variegated. And sometimes depending on the motif, sometimes I will cross each stitch individually to just maximize that variegation. Sometimes, like this, you know, this kind of white stuff down here, there is, even though when you look at the floss, there's like a really light pale blue on one end and it's completely, you know, stark white on the other, that light pale blue stuff, even when I cross it individually, it just doesn't show. Just doesn't show. So because of that, this I just stitched like it's DMC. Just went to one end, went back, you know, kind of did the, what do they call that, typewriter stitching. So at least for the white, I've been doing typewriter stitching, but the reds and the browns and the golds, you can definitely see, like right here, you can see the variegation on the stitching. So yeah, it just depends on which floss I'm using from the kit, whether I do individual or typewriter. But that has been fun, and that again is on my March Magazine Monthly acrostic. So this will get more stitching again here in March. What else did I do in February? Oh, Beach Rat. You guys, I have made excellent progress on Beach Rat. You are gonna be so happy to see what I got done. So let me pull that out, and just in case you've forgotten what it looks like, there's the Beach Rat in all its glory, and this is by the Artsy Housewife. And I got the body of the seagull completely done. I'm so excited. It is so fun that that is done. So here we are. Here's my little Beach Rat. I think when I started stitching on it this month, I was kind of, this darker half of the seagull was done, and I was kind of up here, and I got all of that done. One leg is completely done and I just have to do the golden yellow color, and then that leg is done. And then I get to put some leaves in. I get to write rat, which is hysterical. So yeah, I just have some leaves, got to put the word rat in, call it a day. Yeah, it's been a total blast working on this one, and my husband's already claiming this one for the family room. We kind of put nautical themed things in our family room, and he's like, oh, that's going in the family room. I'm like, okay, sounds good, dear. So we are thoroughly enjoying thinking about Beach Rat being up in the family room. And this is on 32 count vintage country mocha, you know, a classic fabric, and it looks terrific. But I did use all the called for floss. If I had the fancy floss in the house, I used that. If I didn't have the fancy floss, then I just pulled the DMC, and I think it's great. I think it's great. And Beach Rat is also on my March acrostic. So this, again, will get more time and devotion. Definitely will finish off that leg and then start working on rat. So that is where I got to on Beach Rat. And then, let's see, I think at this point, that's all I stitched on in March or February and then the beginning of March. So the rest of the whips I have to show you are things that I have put on my Magazine Monthly acrostic challenge. Oh, and I did finish my whip go for February. What was February? February's whip go was kit up a small and stitch on a Brenda Gervais. And so actually the Lovebirds, that crossed both of those off for me. So that's pretty cool. As long as I've got my whip go in front of me, the calls for March are number 9, which is FFO a project, and number 24, which is stitch on a black work piece. Now, neither of those are on my my Magazine Monthly acrostic, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me this month. What I'm gonna do for my stitch on a black work, I am still stitching on the 2020 Peppermint Purple black work Sal. And so here's where I am, I think. Yeah, this is it. So last time I picked this up, I was just making boxes. So I've got one more big long, you know, the bottom of this box to fill in, and then I get to start putting in the black work. So that is for whip go. And you know, this was supposed to be, you know, you stitch one box a week. Yeah, that didn't happen for me. That's okay. That's okay. All stitching is good stitching as long as I'm making progress on it. I'm not mad about it. So, yeah, that will be fun to concentrate on the black work a little bit, because that always gets, you know, shortchanged. I get so excited. Look, I've got a seagull. So that is whip go for March. And then for FFO a project, do you remember those 12 days of Christmas stockings that I was going to FFO all in December and put them on my Christmas tree? Do you remember those big plans? Well, I think maybe I'll see if I can FFO one of them in March and start working on getting those done. Yeah, December FFOing did not happen. So I'm committing myself to at least getting one of those stockings done. And I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to start with the first one. And this is my thought process, and you can tell me if I'm crazy. But when you start with the 12 Days of Christmas, right, what's the first thing you look for? Partridge in a pear tree, right? Oh, there's the partridge, there's the 2 turtle doves. And I'm thinking, maybe I'll do 8 Maids a Milking. Because you kind of get bored looking at them, you know, get down to, you know, 8, 9, 10. And I'm thinking, so if it's my first one, if it's not exactly perfect, I'll have time to perfect my FFOing so that Partridge in the Pear Tree looks the best. That's what I'm thinking. Now you can tell me I'm nuts, but that is my thought process. Now you had a window into how crazy Robin's brain is, but I don't think it's so dumb. I think it's not a bad way to go. Okay, so that's WhipGo. Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge. That is the group by Carolyn Zook and Robin, and I can't think of her last name right now. Anyway, it's on Facebook. It's Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, and so here is my acrostic, and so the theme is crystal, and so the project that I want to focus on for March is Harbor Haven. And so to make Harbor Haven work in crystal, I said, look at the crystal blue water in Harbor Haven. Smart, right? Yep. So I'm going to get 300 stitches in at a minimum on Harbor Haven and those crystal blue waters. And then the acrostic is Sparkle. And so there's a couple of pieces that I'm not sure I've stitched on yet this year. So the acrostic is Sparkle. So for the S in Sparkle, I'm going to use Satsuma Street, and I'm going to work on the Winterwood Sow. So I think this was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And since I don't think I've showed it to you yet this year, I'm just going to bust it out and show you where I'm at. And then for these other ones, I'm just saying I need to put 200 stitches in. So there's where I'm starting. And this is on a Fiber on a Whim. It's a 28 count ocean blue. And then I'm using the Called For Cosmos. Most of them. I think there were a couple that I just couldn't find. And so there are a few DMCs, but it's the substitutions that Jody suggested. And then let's see if I've got a cover. Yeah, almost. So part 1 is done. This is part 2. So I'm going to be working on part 2 on the Winterwood Sow. So that will be fun to give that guy a little bit of work, because boy, it's sure not getting enough work. Okay, so there we are. You know, I'm looking at that. I think I lied. No, I do not have part 1 done. This is the bear. I have one part of part 1 done. I'm not as far as I thought. That's okay. That's all right. No, you know, no problem. No problem. It's all good here. Yeah. No, that I've only finished 1 box in part 1. Yeah, this might take a little longer than I was thinking. That's okay. That's all right. But I love this fabric. Isn't that pretty? And look at those cosmos just popping off there. Okay, so that is the S in Sparkle. The P in Sparkle is Max Pigeon, Fox and Butterflies. So we've already looked at that. So that will be for the P. The A in Sparkle is going to be Autumn Splendor, which is a Brenda Gervais. And I showed you guys this last FlossTube. There, I haven't stitched on it since. I'll just give you a quick look. I am stitching this on a 36 count antique ivory linen, and that's where I'm at. And this isn't very big. This is like 69 by 69. So I feel feel very confident that I will get this done in plenty of time for autumn. And then I'm just using the called for floss. And again, if I didn't have the fancy floss, I just did the DMC equivalent. Okay, so that's the A. The R in sparkle is going to be Beach Rat. Keep working on Beach Rat. The K in sparkle, I said, it's kind of cute. I'm going to stitch on the Seaside Tiny Town, which again, I think this is the first time this guy has seen the light of day in 2025. So here we are, Seaside Tiny Town. And I'll just show you where I'm at. And then this is also, I think this is a 32 count. Yeah, this is a 32 count beige Belfast linen. And that's where I'm at. Seem to have a seagull theme going on here. And then this one, I will probably put on a spool, which I purchased a while ago. So yeah, so there we go. There's my starting point for Seaside Tiny Town. And then the other two, the L in sparkle is going to be Little Women, which I showed you last time. I didn't dig that one out because we just saw it. And then the E is going to be Hyperboria, E for embroidery, Owl Forest embroidery. So there's my stitching. And then all of these in the acrostic of sparkle, I put down 200 stitches. Sometimes I get exactly 200 and then I'm ready to move on to something else. And sometimes I'm just having such a good time that, you know, they get more. But the minimum I need to feel like I've done my part is 200 stitches. So that is my whips, my finishes, my Foley finishes, and my plans all wrapped up into one. I did purchase a couple of things since last FlossTube. The big thing is I was able to secure a place in the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, which is in September. Heck, that was a lot of S's. So I did get a spot in that. I was very happy to get that. And the designers are Gigi of the Artsy Housewife of the Beach Rat fame and Krista West of Avlia, and I think it's Avlia Folk Embroidery. Don't quote me. But anyway, it's Avlia, A-V-L-E-A, I believe is how she said it. Anyway, I got, I'm on her newsletter. I got a newsletter saying that she was going to be discounting a couple of kits. Oh my goodness, I couldn't buy them fast enough. So I'm thinking when I get the Max Pigeon done, I'm gonna start one of my new kits. So this is one of the kits I bought, and this is called Mykonos Meadow. Oh, you know, and it's the whole thing. I mean, it's got the fabric, it's got the floss, you know, obviously it's got the pattern, which I'm showing you. Sorry, Krista. So anyway, I am super excited to start one of these. I did buy two because, you know, nothing can travel by itself in the mail. Isn't that a rule? I think that's a rule. So the other one I bought was her Astoria. Is that right? I think this one's just called Astoria. And then it's another little sweet kit. I just love those colors. And then here's our fabric and our floss. But I think I'm going to start with the Mykonos. I love them both, but that was, you know, those are the three things I purchased since last I saw you. 2 Avlia kits and my admission to Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. So yay, super fun. I'm looking forward to all of those, but yeah, the second I get Fox and Butterflies done, I'm giving myself a new start on one of those kits. All right, it has been a minute, you guys, since I talked to you about what I'm reading. I thought I'd do that since it's been a minute. So I just got done listening to The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn on audiobook. And I'm gonna be honest. It was not my thing. It's a classic. I've watched old movies. I mean, I know the general storyline. Jim the runaway slave, blah blah blah, who's actually, a free slave. Anyway, it was not my thing. But I wanted to listen to it because I've picked up James, which won all sorts of, bookish awards last year. So I'm going to start reading James. But before I finish that, or start that, I've got to finish this. And I am reading Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And oh my goodness, this is a fantasy. And Tess lives on a small island, and her island is surrounded by the Emerald Sea, and there's actually 12 different seas. Brandon Sanderson, this is the first thing I've read by him. He is a master in world building. So I am thoroughly digging this. I don't want to give any spoiler alerts because his world building is so great that I actually didn't hardly even read the back synopsis. It's just that this keeps getting book talked on, what is that? BookTube? That's what it is, BookTube. I keep hearing about it on BookTube from, all sorts of different, influencers, bookish influencers. And so I finally thought, I'm going to just, dip my toes into Brandon Sanderson, and I am thoroughly loving it. I'm about halfway through. So I'm hoping to finish this next week. Okay, so Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Tress of the Emerald Isle. The other thing, let's see if I can get it up on my Kindle to show you. I read, I don't know if it'll let me expand that. I read Steeped in Murder, and it's by Kirsten. Oh, there we go. Oh, shoot. Kirsten Weiss. And one of you suggested it to me, and I really loved it. So it's a gal who is going to open up a tea shop and a tarot card reader, and they both get sold the same building. And then the guy who sold it to them ends up dead. It was great. It met all of those bells and whistles that I love in a cozy mystery. The murder happens off screen. I don't have to, read about how somebody is, dispatched. I don't enjoy that part. Anyway, super fun. It was the first in this, what do they call it? Tea Room and Tarot series. There's a second one. So I'll be starting that. And then the other thing I'm listening to on Libby is, if I can get it to come up, I am listening to this little guy. I don't know if it'll, there it is. It's called A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. See that? And it's kind of a Jane Austen era mystery. Again, cozy mystery. I'm a few chapters in. So far, the murder hasn't happened, so I'm trying to figure out who's going to get it. And then the other thing that I'm reading is a history, and it's by Candice Millard, and it's called, oh, where'd you go, silly? It's called Destiny of the Republic, and it is about President Garfield. And I know nothing about Garfield, and there's an online book club, and that was their February book pick, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm a little behind, but boy, am I enjoying that. So that's all the things I'm reading. Yeah, I would suggest any and all of them to you, with the exception of Huckleberry Finn. Didn't like it. But I have big hopes for James. I hope that I really like that. Okay, what else do we have to talk about? I don't think we have anything else to talk about. Books, purchases, whips, finishes, possible starts in March. I think we covered it. I hope that you guys are having a great day, that your stitching is going well. If things aren't going well for you, I hope you can find some peace and calm, and yeah, that you're all okay. So I'm going to let you get on to your next FlossTuber. Just know how much I enjoy our visits. I will confess I have not read all of your comments on my last video, so I apologize. I will try to get to that here. Life has been slightly busy. Who knew? And, you know, if you, just a, you know, a little itty bitty teeny tiny life update. This is all the stitching. I'm just going to transition to a little life update. For those of you that are maybe wondering, my mom is okay. It's very odd. It's a really odd situation to know that she doesn't know that her husband has passed, and she's okay. Because of her dementia, she just doesn't know that he hasn't been around. And in fact, yesterday I was telling her that my husband is putting new flooring in our bathroom, and she said, oh, well, you should tell your dad to go up and help. He's really good at that stuff. And I'm like, you know, Mom, that's a fantastic idea. Yep, I will definitely have to think about that. But she just doesn't know. And because she doesn't know, she's happy. And so that is a blessing. It really is. It's a blessing. If she was miserable and devastated, it would be harder on me. And knowing that she's okay makes it, you know, a little bit more okay for me. So there you go. Yeah, I had a phone call from the place. She'd taken off her rings, and everybody's looking for her rings. So that was fun. We found them. Thank you, Jesus, because I didn't think I'd see these rings again. But yeah, we found them. So life is okay. Life is good. All right, you guys, stitch happy, and I will see you when I can see you. Okay, bye guys.